last 2 years, it's been trial and tribulation for the island's faithful. Not only were they slammed with back-to-back clergy sexual abuse lawsuits, a divide widened in the church between traditional Catholics and the Neocatechumenal Way.
You're no Catholic. You're not a Catholic.
That's on top of closing the Redemptoris Modern Seminary and church finances taking a nosedive.
My main reason for closing the seminary is that it's just not a sustainable model for the Archdiocese of Agana.
Though there's so much uncertainty ahead, Guam Catholics finally get some answers from the Vatican. Over the next half hour, we'll overview the verdict handed down against Archbishop Anthony Apuron, what it means for the victims, for the accused and his allies, and what's in store for the Archdiocese of Agana, who still faces millions of dollars in clergy sexual abuse lawsuits. I'm your host, Krystal Paco, and this is the Vatican Verdict. The verdict is in. A canonical trial against Guam's suspended Archbishop Anthony Apuron renders a guilty verdict, at least for some of the charges. 5 judges who made up the Apostolic Tribunal collected the evidence which was presented to the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. They decided he was, quote, guilty of certain of the accusations, end quote. Those accusations are believed to be related to the clergy's sexual abuse claims by Roy Quintanilla, Roland Sandia, Walter Denton, Doris Concepcion on behalf of her late son Joseph Sonny Quintanilla, and most recently Mark Apuron, who alleges he was raped by his uncle. But what does this guilty verdict mean for Guam's once beloved shepherd, who served the Archdiocese of Agana for 3 decades? According to a Holy See press bulletin issued late Friday, Guam time, he is to be removed from office and exiled from the local archdiocese. This, however, is subject to appeal. The bulletin states, quote, in the case of an appeal, the imposed penalties are suspended until final resolution, end quote. Hours after the papal announcement, Apuron, in a press release, maintained his innocence and stated he'd be fighting his case. Appeal or not, his victims say the Vatican's verdict was prayers answered. Former Agate altar boy Roland Sandia was in tears as he read the verdict late Friday night.
It was the guilty verdict. Something that we've been waiting for a long time. I think that the island was waiting for that for a long time. For us, for me, it was over 40 years. 40 years in the making.
Victim Roy Quintanilla received a call from Sandia in the middle of the night. Quintanilla, who now lives in Hawaii, couldn't go back to sleep after the news.
I couldn't be happier. You know, I'm relieved. I'm glad that the Vatican believed what we said to them, you know, in our written and personal testimony. I just wish, you know, we didn't have to wait this long. I am disappointed, you know, that Apuron is still denying abusing us, you know, but there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, that's his call. It's not the call that I would make, you know, if I was in his shoes. You know, he prays for the church in Guam and the faithful. Well, you know, mean what you say, and you know, just admit it so that the church and the faithful can start to heal and put this behind us. You know, I mean, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, but it's time to admit, you know, what you did. But even if he doesn't ever do that, and you know, he takes this to his grave and doesn't admit it, at least the Vatican believes us.
They are joined by Walter Denton. He was also in tears upon reading the Vatican verdict Friday morning in Arizona, where he lives today.
I waited for this to happen all my life. Because finally somebody got to listen to me. When I wrote my letter to the Vatican, I only hoped and prayed that someone over there was going to listen to me. And you know what? They did. They read my story and they felt the pain that I carried all my life as a child. Somebody over there listened. I guess they took their letter and they did something with it. The Vatican made a change, and they wanted to show the people of Guam that this individual does not belong in Guam. He does not deserve to be the Archbishop of Guam. He does not deserve to be the leader in the Catholic Church. So with this guilty verdict, it's a huge relief. And I thank God that something has been done.
Not all victims, however, would live to see this day. Doris Concepcion, who now lives in Arizona, is one of Apuron's 5 accusers. Her son, Joseph Sonny Kanata, was on his deathbed when he told her he had been raped by Apuron. She admits she wouldn't have believed him had he told her sooner. Back then, it was a culture of silence.
I was brought up believing that you don't discuss it, you don't talk about it, and with the priest, they're like God. You know, they don't abuse the kids. You put your trust in them.
The Vatican's verdict means Sonny can finally rest in peace.
I felt him. When I read that, I broke down and I cried, and I felt my son saying, "It's okay, Mom. I'm at peace now. It's all we wanted, Mama. It's all I wanted." And I wasn't going to give up the fight either. He can appeal all he wants. He's not going to get anywhere. I got what I wanted.
But their battle isn't over yet. Apuron's appeal could take years to resolve.
It's time to yell and it's time to move on, but Apuron wants to drag it on, and we're not going to give up. It's so sad because Apuron has made a pact with the devil. And he's more concerned about his image and other than saving his soul.
And while the Vatican has decided, the courts have not. Denton and Sandia tell KUAM they still want their apology from their abuser.
I want to face him. I want to see him in court. I want to face him. I want to see him in court. I want to see him eye to eye. And I want to ask him, why did he do this to me? Oh, why did he hurt my friends? Why did he do this? And I want him to explain to all the people of Guam. I just want to hear what he has got to say.
I still want to face him. You know, he needs to apologize. He needs to face us. He needs to tell his flock that he did wrong. I want him to admit. I want him to tell us and apologize.
Still to come on the Vatican verdict, we'll hear from Apuron and his allies.